Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take source materials you're interested in, pull out the key stuff, and basically give you the fast track to knowing what's what.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Quick insights, deep understanding.
So this time, we've got excerpts from Matthew Perry's memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. And wow, it's a really raw look at a medical crisis he went through.
It really is. Incredibly personal.
Our mission then is to really unpack the seriousness of what happened, look at some of the honestly surprising details around it, and touch on the resilience and the support system themes that come through.
Definitely. Because reading just the prologue, the intensity is, well, it's pretty startling, isn't it?
Totally startling. It hits you right away.
And I think that's key with memoirs like this, especially from someone so public. You get this immediate sense of vulnerability, sharing something so serious, almost near fatal. It sets a certain tone.
Okay, let's get into it. That prologue, it just drops you right in. Day 7 of the pain, then day 10 of no movement. He's not like easing you in.
Not at all. And he calls the pain the platonic ideal of pain. I mean, even saying something like childbirth doesn't compare.
Yeah.
That's a huge statement.
It really is. It grabs you. He's trying to convey something almost indescribable, you know?
Exactly. Establishing the absolute extremity of it.
Yeah.
The feeling like his insides are bursting out. It's visceral.
And the sounds he was making, comparing them to coyotes ripping apart something that is howling, that imagery is just horrific.
It is. And then adding that the silence afterwards means death. Yeah, that's chilling stuff.
And all this is happening while he's in a sober living house in Southern California. He's 49. He mentions being in and out of places like this half his life.
You get that sense of weariness, right?
Yeah.
Like he knows addiction inside out, calls himself a professional patient.
Yeah, but the knowledge itself isn't enough. He's still battling, still got that monkey on his back, as he puts it.
It really shows how addiction works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Understanding it intellectually doesn't just make it go away.
And he talks about being afraid of being alone, his mind turning on him. It's this constant internal fight.
Mm-hmm. Even when he's technically in a place designed for support.
And it's stark, that contrast between this internal agony and, the external stuff, having dated Julia Roberts, the dream house, the money.
Right. And he explicitly says they just weren't the answer.
It's such a powerful point. External success doesn't equal internal peace.
No, definitely not. It challenges that whole narrative, doesn't it? That if you just achieve enough, you'll be okay. He even mentions his grandfather choosing not to drink because of his father's issues.
Oh, right. That adds another layer, like this awareness of family history, but still being on his own path with it.
Do you think that awareness sort of influenced how he saw his own struggle, even subconsciously?
That's a really interesting question. You'd probably get more of a feel for that hearing him talk about his family history in the full audiobook, in his own voice.
True. Okay, so moving on. The pain gets even worse.
Yeah.
So bad he actually stopped smoking, which for him was apparently a huge deal.
A massive sign something was seriously wrong. But then the reaction he gets, this staff member, the one he calls Nurse Fuckface, suggests an Epsom salts bath. It's just hard to believe, given the agony he's describing.
It's shocking. And it really speaks to that potential problem, doesn't it? Dismissing patients, especially those with a history of addiction.
Like the assumption is immediately something else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bias creeping in, maybe.
Yeah.
Instead of just assessing the symptoms objectively. It's a real issue. And that response, that dismissal, it just perfectly sets up Aaron's role.
Yes, Aaron. His assistant, his best friend, someone who, he says, got his struggles more than any doctor.
And she recognized it instantly. If Aaron thought it was hospital bad, it was hospital bad.
Yeah.
That's the moment things change.
Her just asking, do you want to go to the hospital? And him just howling, yes. It's like a lifeline.
It really is. It shows the power of having someone who knows you, who believes you, advocating for you. Cuts right through the noise.
Yeah, cuts through that awful dismissal he got earlier.
It makes you wonder, how often does that stigma, around addiction stop medical folks from seeing a real physical crisis right in front of them?
Well, it almost stopped him here. Aaron helps him out of the bath, and then Catherine, the counselor, shows up.
And her reaction.
Accuses him of drug-seeking behavior, just like that.
Unbelievable. Even as he's clearly in agony.
Then the head counselor, Charles, comes in, and they actually try to block Aaron and Matthew from leaving the facility.
They physically tried to stop them.
Yeah. Aaron's insisting he needs a hospital. Matthew's still screaming in pain. He says they somehow push past them.
Wow. Just wow. The obstacles.
He mentions the sun looking down with scorn, how he hadn't really been outside much. It's quite a scene.
And Erin's thinking on her feet the whole time, calling the hospital.
Right, telling them a high-profile patient is coming, severe abdominal pain, trying to manage his privacy but get him urgent help.
That's incredible presence of mind in a crisis, especially with him starting to get delusional.
Yeah, the ping pong balls on the couch comment he apparently made at the hospital. He was clearly fading.
And Erin's asking about the route fastest versus avoiding plot holes because of the pain.
And he's just like, just get there, woman. You feel the desperation.
And then Charles and Catherine actually block the car.
Yeah, stand in front of it.
Yeah.
Erin has to maneuver around them to get away. It's just frantic.
Good grief. What an escape.
And then he says, that's when he hits a 10 on the pain scale, which for him means losing consciousness.
So he's out at this point.
Right. So the next part of the story, he's recounting what others told him happened while he was unconscious.
Okay.
They get to St. John's, and because Erin called ahead, they whisk him straight into a treatment room. The situation is obviously critical.
And then the complications hit hard.
Yeah. He aspirated vomit into his lungs, which led to pneumonia, and then his colon exploded.
Catastrophic failure happening inside him.
And the doctors tell his family he has a 2% chance of making it through the night.
2%. That's terrifyingly low. Puts it all in perspective, doesn't it? How close he was.
Absolutely. And they realize he needs an ECMO machine, that heart-lung bypass machine for critical cases.
Right. Takes over the function of the heart and lungs. Very specialized equipment.
And they actually have trouble finding one. Cedars-Sinai says no. UCLA initially says no.
So even getting the necessary life support was a struggle. The precariousness of it all.
But eventually, UCLA agrees to send a machine and a team. They transfer him there to the heart and lung ICU.
And he's there for a long time.
6 weeks, in a coma the whole time. But he makes a point of saying his family and friends were constantly there, by his side.
That's huge. Even if he wasn't conscious of it then, that constant presence, that support network, it matters.
It feels like a testament to the connections he had, definitely.
That sense of community in a crisis, it's powerful.
So he finally starts to wake up, and his first conversation, it's with his mom. She tells him, your colon exploded.
And his reaction?
He apparently just rolled his eyes and went back to sleep.
Even then, a flicker of that Perry humor, dark humor maybe.
Totally. But he admits later that he initially didn't want to know the full story. He was afraid, he says, that it was somehow his fault.
That makes sense. Facing the reality of something that devastating, the fear of self-blame, it's a common reaction to trauma, sort of denial.
Yeah, a coping mechanism. He really leaned on his sisters and Erin again during that early recovery time.
And that support system continuing to be crucial as he starts processing it all.
It's his sister Maria who finally sits him down and tells him everything. The 2% chance, all of it. And he says, oh boy, did I cry.
The full weight of it finally landing, realizing how close he came and grappling with why he survived.
Exactly. And the recovery itself sounds brutal. He had the colostomy bag.
Right.
And then this thing called a fistula, like an internal leak, that took them a whole month to even find.
Oh, wow. So more complications, more frustration.
Yeah, and during that month, he couldn't eat or drink anything. He just dreamed about Diet Coke and Diet Sprite.
God, just the basics. It shows how much he was enduring. That long, hard road to recovery after the initial crisis.
They finally find and fix the fistula. And then it's about learning to walk again, building strength back.
A huge physical challenge on top of everything else.
He throws in another bit of that dark humor, saying he knew he was getting better when he started finding his therapist attractive.
Yeah, a sign of life returning, maybe.
Maybe. But again, he emphasizes through all of it, the 5 months in the hospital, he was never left alone, not once.
That constant presence. It's a recurring theme.
He's eventually released, though there's still another surgery planned down the line. But he made it through this incredible ordeal.
It's an astonishing story of survival.
It really is. And, you know, for those of you listening, if you want to get even deeper into this, hearing Matthew Perry tell it himself on the audiobook, well, the link's in the description, hearing his voice, his own emotion recounting this stuff, it definitely adds another dimension.
Oh, absolutely. Hearing it directly from him would be incredibly powerful. It gives you that extra layer of connection to the experience.
So when you reflect on these parts of his story, what really stands out?
Well, the resilience is just immense, obviously, facing that level of medical catastrophe. But also, the power of advocacy, Erin's role, was just so critical, wasn't it?
Absolutely pivotal. Without her, who knows?
Right. It highlights how vital it is to have someone in your corner fighting for you, believing you, especially when systems might fail or dismiss you. And it also just underlines the unpredictable nature of serious illness, how quickly things can spiral.
And the importance of connection. That constant support from family and friends seems like it was just fundamental.
Completely. That human connection in the darkest times. It's not just comfort. It feels like part of the healing process itself.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about the kinds of battles people might be fighting that we just don't see.
Mm-hmm. The hidden struggles.
And maybe it's a reminder to, trust our gut about our own health and also to be that advocate, that errand for people we care about when they need it.
That's a great takeaway. So a final thought to leave people with. Maybe consider what other stories, perhaps ones you could hear directly from the source, like Perry's audiobook, might hold these kinds of surprising, profound insights into just how fragile and yet how incredibly strong we can be.